Hey everyone. Hey everyone. So, welcome to another Wednesday Night Live with Suzette. Today, we're still talking about business, but we are going to be talking about investments. So, last week, I made a post about a stock that I invested in, Ethereum. And after making that post, a bunch of people messaged me asking me about the stock market. I don't know much to do with the stock market at all. So I thought it'd be a great day to bring in an expert. Bernard, give me 1 second. So that he could speak more about stock markets. Get in one section there. Hold on. Connection. There we go. Hi, Bernard. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Sue? Long
No,
time, man. Long
I
time.
don't know, like 20 years.
Well,
What are you doing?
I had more hair back then. I know that much.
Your back, you're dead. Not your hair moved down to your face now. It's on your chin.
It's down on the face now. This is what I have to work with. Yeah.
Do you still have hair? You just came off your own live. My goodness, I was watching. I was like, oh my, I'm a little worried. Is he gonna finish in time? But you,
Listen,
you're watching that time. Thank you.
listen. I don't play
I'm
with my appointments. Yeah, I
There
don't play
we
with my
go.
appointments. And just so you know, like we have a clubhouse at 9:30. So I was like, I'm trying to figure out how to answer her questions efficiently so I can get to our
Oh,
clubhouse at
oh,
9:30. But listen, I know the wife can start it off and we can do our thing
okay.
here. So uh, I ain't
Okay.
stressing it.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I was just introducing our topic tonight. Last week, I made a post about my stock that I invested in Ethereum, and so many people started messaging me asking me about the stock market. I'm like, whoa, 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 I don't know anything. Someone told me it was a great investment. I invested, it's doing pretty good. That's it. That's all I know. So I thought to bring you on because you're the expert, and I just watched the last 10 minutes of your live, and like you're so knowledgeable in this. So we'll get right into it because I know you're kind of pressed for time. So introduce yourself and talk about the Way podcast and what it's about.
All right. So The Way is our nonprofit. I'm a co-founder of The Way, and it was really our attempt at being philanthropic. I'm a financial advisor, used to be a financial advisor, actually retired from that position about 10 years ago. But I studied investments in college. I was a finance major. For me, that was something that was very natural for me, easy to really make money doing that. It was simple. My wife, she is in media, and she actually has her own media company as well. And she knows everything's PR. She's PR, media, marketing. She knows all of that stuff cold. So between the two of us, I'm like, well, wait a minute, we got some things we could share. So why not just start up a nonprofit and utilize what we know? And together we have a relationship that's pretty, I'd say it's pretty good. I'd say amazing, to be honest. And we've advised other couples about how to be in a kingdom marriage, we call it, and just like a very faithful and loving marriage. It doesn't mean that you don't have arguments, you don't fight, but it's about unconditional love. So we talk to folks about relationships. We talk to folks about money. We talk to folks about how to give back. And that's the way in a nutshell. Three areas of focus. And, we do the podcast every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We got some of our Way Tribe over here as well, too. So I'm glad that they
Nice.
joined us. Glad they
Oh,
joined us as well. Way Tribe, what's up?
that's great. So it's just you and your wife that do the podcast.
Yeah, for now. But we do have a lot of guests. We have our the hack man that comes on. He's our tech guru. We've got the mind
Okay.
investor that's been on a few times. We've
Oh,
got
nice.
we've got a whole, it's a tribe. We've got a
The
team of people
whole
that come
tribe.
on.
It sounds like it. My goodness. And that's every Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So don't be a stranger now.
Okay.
Don't let me see you one time and not see you again.
No, 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 no. I'm gonna be there now. Now that I know, I'm gonna put in my calendar so I can jump on before my live at 9 o'clock. Oh, that's amazing. That's great to hear. So, now we're gonna get into it. Now we're gonna start. I know you're an expert. We're gonna go a little bit back because there's a lot of people that don't have great knowledge, myself included, on the stock market, right? So we're gonna scale back a little bit. I know you were going deep a while ago. I'm like, we're gonna have to scale it a little bit back. Let's talk about the basics, right? So can you explain to me what's a forex and what's the difference between it and the stock market?
All right. So just so you know, folks that invest,
Mhm.
it's sort of like hairstylists, right? You have folks that do good perms. You have folks who do the African braids and the box braids. You got folks that do the Jerry curls there's different types of hairstylists that do different things, right? In the investment world, it's the same thing. So you have folks that day trade. That's an entire industry of folks by itself. You have folks
Mhm.
like me who are long-term investors. So for us, I view myself as a long-term investor. I look at growth accounts. I look at ways to create wealth and not just to be rich. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times when you're doing trading, you're trading, that's just an action. That's not necessarily a lifestyle. So
Mhm.
Forex is foreign exchange, and that's the type of trade. Like it's the type of trading platform that you're using, trading currencies. So you're,
Okay.
trading the US to Canadian dollar or the British pound to the won. Like literally you're trying to find arbitrage in currency exchange. It is
Okay.
its own type of investment, which I do not do anything of. I don't do any of that ever. I've
Touch
never
it
done
now.
it. I've never done it. And the reason why is not because it's not profitable, because it is.
Mhm.
I've done a lot of folks on Forex. And here's the thing. I've been getting a lot of scam emails from people trying to get me involved in their Forex. Like, oh, join my Forex. They'll add me as like, I'm a Forex person. Come make Bitcoin. Da 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 da. I'm like, why? How come when I talk about regular investments, you guys don't want to add me like that? But I talk about Forex not being a real investment, and you get mad and you want to add me and spam me. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So Forex is basically foreign exchange, and it's a type of trade that you can do. I don't do it. So I'm gonna start that being completely transparent. I don't do any Forex trading because I like to invest my money in companies, not just in currencies.
So that's more like a short-term investment? Is it more for
Yeah,
short-term or?
yeah, very
Okay.
short term. You're doing trades usually every day, every week. You're closing out your positions daily because again, foreign exchange is very volatile. So money moves up and down a lot faster than regular stocks. So for
Very
example,
funny.
we looked at a stock the other day, Tilray. It's a cannabis company. It just steadily goes up over time.
Yeah.
Forex can go up a lot one day and drop the next day and go up because it's based on a lot of social factors. So it's
Well,
it's it's a lot more
that's
risky
not for
than
me.
what we do.
I'm not
Oh,
a risk taker, so that doesn't sound like nothing I'd want to do at all. Because the moment I see it drop like a penny, I'm like, oh, no, no, cash out, no.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so, okay,
it's
that makes
it's stressful. It's stressful, but if you know what you're doing, and there are folks who know how to do it well, make sure
yeah.
you're under someone that knows that has a successful history of doing it well. Because if you're under some bum, you're gonna lose your shirt. So
Okay, that makes sense. So you mentioned something about, that was going to be one of my questions, day trading. So again, we're just talking about some basics here. Day trading versus long-term trading. What's essentially the difference? Like break it down for people who may not understand.
that's yeah, no problem. So the simple part of day trading is I start a position in the morning, I close it in the evening. I never
Okay.
hold a position throughout the night. So day traders are consistently making trades in the morning and then closing out their positions before the end of the trading day every single day. Their job is to make money that day. And they rack you, if they make 20% that day, they had a good day. If they lose 5%, they had a bad day. So
Mhm.
their job is really to find stocks that are going to move that specific day, get in and get out before the end of the day. So that's a day trader. And actually, you can get flagged for day trading if you're not a professional. So what
Really?
that means is so if let's say you trade, let's say Amazon stock. Let's say you trade Amazon stock 5 times in the same day. You buy it, you sell it, you buy it, you sell it, you buy it, you sell it, you buy it. If you do that 5 times, your brokerage will flag your account and say, if you do this again, you're going to be suspended from trading for 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So
they
you
can only
have,
do it once? They can only buy
so
once and sell once for the day?
well, you have a limit. I think every broker dealer has a certain limit of trades that they're allowing you to make within a time frame. So sometimes you have to wait at least 3 days to then make another trade. So what they
Oh,
typically want is for folks to like be swing traders instead of day traders. What's a swing trader? It's someone who buys a position on like Monday and will wait about 2 or 3 days to sell their position because they're expecting it to swing up. They don't mind anyone that does that. But if
okay.
you're buying and selling in the same day several times, the same stocks, they see it as you need to be flagged for that because unless you're a professional, they're not going to allow you to use their platform to do that. So you just have to know that day trading is a skill, and it means you
That's
get
good
in
to
the
know.
morning, you get out before the end of the day.
That's good to know. The first time when I invested and the stock dropped, I wanted to cash out right away, but then about 10 minutes later, it went back up. So
Yeah,
good
it's
thing I,
stressful. Don't
yeah,
do it.
okay.
It's stressful, man. Don't do it unless, well, hold on. Unless you get a steal, like for
Mhm.
example, the GameStop people and the
Yeah.
AMC, that's a day trade. If you can get in on AMC at $20 and get out at 200, that's a day trade. I would make that right now. You wouldn't get flagged for that once. Like, if you get something like that, hey, do it. If it's
Okay.
not that though,
Then don't
that
bother.
it's stressful. You're gonna have my hair when you're done with it. Go ahead. You want my hairstyle?
Is
That's
that why you're involved? You started off? Okay. Explain to me the long term then.
So long term is what we do. So essentially, you are buying shares of companies that you think will be around for more than 5 years, and you're expecting to continue to grow your portfolio with these investments. So similar to a 401k, an IRA, those are accounts that are designed to be used in your retirement age. So when you're 59 and a half, 65. So if you're 21, you have until that time, you have 40 years to invest in something. That's a long-term investor. Those are the majority of people that I work with, because wealth is something that you have to start at a young age, and you have to be consistent throughout the time. You can't just expect to be wealthy investing for 1 year and that's it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So for long-term investors, that's when you are investing consistently over time to accumulate the most amount of shares that you can afford over that time frame. So it's a difference of making money every day versus making long-term acquisitions of stocks over the long haul. So that's what we do. That's what we all should do. You should do that. I should do that. Everyone should be doing that.
I don't know, because as soon as I see a drop, man, I want to cash out. So if you're long term, right? Do you, if it drops, do you ever like cash out, buy up, sell it, and then buy back in when it goes back up, or just leave it for the 5 years? You just leave it and just hope for the best, kind of thing.
So I'm going to share with you a tidbit for you and your followers, and hopefully this is something that can get you guys feeling good at night. So when you invest long term, it's never about cashing out. It's always about cashing in. Meaning, if the stock price goes down, you buy more of them. Think of it this way. Let's say that I was going to give you a Tesla, right? You like Teslas. You've seen them before, right? The Model S. Those are $100,000 cars, right? Let's say you bought a Tesla, and I have about 100 of them to sell, okay? And you have friends that want Teslas too. You got friends that all want Teslas, okay? If one day you saw that in my dealership, I was selling a Tesla for $20,000, even though it's worth 100, how many of them would you buy? If you were in the business to get a $100,000 Tesla, how many you'd buy? 5 of them, right? I'm assuming, because you have 100 grand to spend. You're not going to buy, right? That is the exact same logic I want you to use when your stock goes down.
Yeah.
The value of the stock has not changed, except the fact that you can get them cheaper. That's really all that's happened. So if you have a stock that you like and you're in the market for it already, and it drops by half, you need to start buying more of that stock, because when it goes back to where it originally was, which most stocks do, if you're in the right industry, you're going to make all of that gain right back. And the shares that you bought when it was at a low, that's going to be what's going to save you when you get back to up here, because your money's going to literally double, depending on how much we're talking here. So buy more.
Okay. So buy more, cash in, not cash out. Okay. I like that. I never thought of it that way, because
I've never said it that way.
And it makes sense. So when you position it that way, it makes perfect sense, because then that way you're bound to make money in the end, especially after 5 years. Exactly. So now let's talk about cryptocurrency. I was speaking to a friend earlier today, and he's the first person I spoke to who said that he's not sure of it at all. How do you feel about cryptocurrency? Well, first of all, let's talk about what it is, and the two common types, so Ethereum and Bitcoin, and just give me your feedback on that.
Okay, so this is something else I don't trade in, but I know enough about it to know that I have to trade in it soon. So cryptocurrency is just, it is the next type of money, essentially. So by the time we're old and gray, we're going to have a whole bunch of these types of currencies running, because they're actually very safe. So cryptocurrency is basically, it started off with, Bitcoin was the biggest one that you know, but it started off as a user-to-user type of money, which means that let's say you and I have a group of 100 people that we know. We all decide to split up 100 coins amongst each other. Okay, so everyone gets a coin, right? Now, whenever I want to buy something from you, I use one of my coins to pay you to get that. But it's only going to work within my network. It doesn't work outside of us. So our friends, only we can trade and use this currency amongst each other. That's how it started, right? So with cryptocurrency, when it starts with that small group, and then more people start buying into it, so more folks are getting access to these dollars, now you have a bigger network of folks that can then trade, buy and sell, or just trade goods, trade money back and forth, Bitcoin back and forth. But that is limiting, because if you have 1,000 Bitcoins right now, you can't buy a house in New York City unless they have Bitcoins too. And most mortgage companies don't offer mortgages for Bitcoins. So the way I see it is, you need to start harvesting and getting like Bitcoins and other types of cryptocurrencies, like get access to that, because that's going to be the way that all currency will be in the future. Look at places like South Korea, look at places like China. China just implemented its own digital currency as well, the yuan. It's digital now, right? It's literally crypto, just the same as them. And those types of currencies are going to be what everyone buys and trades in the future. Like that's just how every dollar is going to go, because it's easier for your economy. Like you're not worrying about printing dollars, you're not worrying about having cash systems in your, no, just your cell phone. Beep, I paid for this. Beep, I paid for that. Beep, we've transferred money. Like that's how money is going to be in the future. So we need to start investing in Bitcoin and other types of cryptocurrencies because it's going to be the future. It's just not here right now. And because it's not here right now, investing in it now, if you have extra money, please do go ahead and do that because you're ahead of the curve. But if you're going to be renting from somebody or you don't have a house yet, you may want to start investing in dollars so you can buy those things now and over the next 5-10 years. And after that, then you can transition into Bitcoins or whatever other cryptocurrency you want to be in. But that's really what it is. I mean, it's going to be what everything is. Digital currency is going to be everything in the future. Yeah. It's just not here yet.
So it's an extra long investment because it's not happening for now, but you see it happening in the future.
Right. And there's a city in Africa that Akon is setting up that's going to be run on cryptocurrencies. So like they're setting up different like villages and towns. Yeah. So it's going to be the nature of certain places. Don't get me wrong. It's just not here yet. So I'd rather invest my money in something I can raise.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you for that. Explaining that because people try to explain it to me before, it just never actually sunk in. But that was a really great explanation of it. So is Bitcoin and Ethereum transferable then? Because you're saying that it's within communities. So is it that Ethereum is one type of community and then Bitcoin's another? Because there's a huge value difference with them right now.
Yep, that's exactly right, and that's how you know. If they were the same, they'd be worth the same. But they're not. But here's what's going to happen in the future, though. There's going to probably be a unifying digital currency that's going to be the one that everything is going to sum into. And whenever that happens, it's probably going to be a world digital currency at some point. However many coins you have of Bitcoin or the other cryptocurrencies, they're going to be worth a fraction of whatever that dollar, that new digital global dollar will be. So that's just my assumption because there's no other way for them to really make it work for everybody. And for them to do that, that requires a lot of processing power, a lot of data centers. Like it requires a lot for them to have a global currency like that, which is why I don't see it happening anytime soon. Yeah. Bitcoin's going to be for Bitcoin communities. The other ones will be for other, like, it's going to be pocketed in the different communities until they find a way to merge that. And it's not easy because you're talking about different security measures that have to be breached in order for that to happen. It's a lot.
So it probably mean this crazy world we're living in right now, who knows what might happen, 20, 30 years from now. So, it's one of those things that it could possibly happen, but just don't know when, right? So exactly. Another question. So Bitcoin right now is upwards of 40,000 and Ethereum is just over 2,000. Is it worthwhile? Because this is an issue that I had. I didn't know if I should purchase. I had enough to purchase a couple of Ethereum, but then at the same time, because the Bitcoin was so much higher, I didn't know if I should purchase a piece of that versus, a couple of the coins for the Ethereum. So do you think that it's better for someone if they can purchase the entire stock versus purchasing a portion of it? Like, what do you think is more valuable in the end?
It just depends on how much money you have to waste, to be honest, because, if you have money to blow, hey, do it. But if you've got a credit card that's $2,000, pay that off first. Like, I wouldn't even put, like, if you're clear and you have no debts of any kind, you owe nobody any money, you own the property that you live in, if everything in your life is all set, I would say have at it. You can do Bitcoin, you can do the other one, you can do all of them at the same time. Ethereum, you can do them all because you're in a position where you're financially free. Once you're there, invest in all of the Bitcoins you want. But until you've reached financial freedom, I wouldn't put $1 in that because every dollar that I have has to be leveraged to get me to the financial free space. Once I'm there, I can drop 20,000, 40,000, 100,000 on Bitcoin whenever I want because now I have capital. I have renewable energy. I have a residual income coming from 10 properties that give me 100 grand. Okay, let me invest 50,000 in Bitcoin. Like, I want us to think that way because if you're not thinking that way, you're going to. It's like the people that invest in things and then they need money for their rent the next month. It's like, no, just pay off your rent first, and when you have free money, then invest that. Don't mix your money around with that kind of stuff. So I would say for anybody that's looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of those digital currencies, make sure that your life is good first and do a little bit of it, like a very small amount on the side if you can, but make sure that your life is good first.
Yeah.
Your debt is cleared, you own a property, you own some sort of rental income or residual income, and then have at all the Bitcoins you can afford because you'll need it.
Yeah. So that being said, obviously you prefer to do the regular stocks versus the Bitcoin. So that's Okay, great.
Yeah.
So then, what was I say? And so, would you say it's worthwhile to invest into penny stocks? We talk about that. I had so many different opinions about that as well.
Yeah, we call them small caps, companies below $2 billion. I think that that is the market that's going to save all of us in 2021. With all the
Yeah,
volatility happening and everything that's going crazy, like if you're invested in a small company that can grow into a big one, you're going to make all of that gains. So to
yeah.
me, that's where I want all of us to be. Like small cap companies, which is under 2 billion, that's like the penny stocks under 30 cents, $1.50, all of that stuff. I want
Mhm.
all of those before I get
Yeah.
one Bitcoin. I want all of those first because they can
Okay.
go from $1 to like $10 or to $15. And I've shown different stocks that are doing that. I'm like, yo, like get involved, like know what these companies are doing,
Yeah.
buy them. It's that,
Well,
you
what
know,
about
because
Uber? Uber was
hmm?
a, I don't know if it was ever a penny stock, but Uber blew up. I didn't know Uber was around for 10 years. I didn't know that. I just thought Uber
Yeah.
came around when they started making songs about it, a few years ago. So
Yeah, no,
imagine
Uber's been
purchasing
around.
stock back then.
And that's the goal. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there are so many companies that are in that same Uber space where they're making money now. You just have to know that they're there. Like, just get them. Because if you're investing for the long term, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you're going to be fine. Just if you're in
Yeah.
the right industry, you're going to be fine. So,
So how do you think, like, how is it for someone to project what would be a good investment? Like, what would be the best way to kind of know that? Just watching the economy, because sometimes look at the GameStop thing, right? People at
yeah.
one point thought it was a great investment, and then it crashed. So how would
See, but
it? What's
why?
the best way
But
to kind of
right. But why did they think? But why did they think it was a good investment? Like, why did they think that GameStop was a good investment? That company has been hemorrhaging money for the last years, for like years. And the reason why they're hemorrhaging is because again, we went into a space where people aren't buying actual games at the stores anymore. They're literally buying digital games on their consoles. So it's going to go the way of Blockbuster. You remember Blockbuster? We're old enough to remember Blockbuster.
I remember, yeah, yeah,
They're gone now and they're replaced with Netflix. Like that's what happens with brick and mortar stuff. Like you're not going to be able to maintain that. So for me, I didn't see GameStop as a good company to begin with. So when it went up by 200% or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, as fast as it goes up is as fast as it's going to go down. Why? Because it wasn't a good investment to start with. It
yeah,
wasn't a good one to start with. However, Sundial, which is another company in that same batch of companies, that was in the cannabis industry. It did not do the same thing GameStop did. It literally is still going up right now. Why? Because it was positioned correctly. So for me, as long as the industry is right, you can literally blindly throw darts at any company in that industry, and if the industry is a successful one, it's gonna win. So how do you pick a good stock? You got to know. You got to think like think like an economist. Think like an economist. Don't think like an investor. Think like, okay, where's the economy going? What are people trying to buy? What are people getting into? Is there a company that provides that I should maybe invest in? That's how you got to start investing. Looking at what's around you and saying, hey, this might be a big deal in the future if people like me want something like this.
yeah. I was looking at Fiverr, and Fiverr stocks wasn't too high. I can't remember what the number was, but right when COVID hit in March, it went all the way up. And so it's because a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people are doing their own businesses, and now they need that service that Fiverr provides. And I think it's like 200 now or something. I'm not sure exactly how much it
242.
is.
It's at 242 right now. I'm looking them up.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
In August they were at 105 and now they're at 242. Perfect example. That is a
yeah,
perfect example of a company that's doing exactly what we're talking about.
yeah,
Pandemic, more people need stuff digitally. Boom. People are getting into their own businesses and selling stuff online. Boom. Fiverr's ticker symbol is FVRR,
yeah,
and they were up 3% today. So how you see
yeah.
you know how to do this?
I
You should be a stockbroker.
just want to do a little research before I came. Yeah, okay. So, actually, I know you have to go soon. So, what are the top three best trading platforms? I use Wealthsimple. Is there any other ones
Okay.
that you recommend?
I am a big fan of TD Ameritrade. I'm a fan of Merrill Edge, which is on Bank of America. And let's see, what's the other one? My lady's on this one. Shoot, I forget the stock one that she's with, but they're E-Trade. E-Trade.
E-Trade. Okay.
Yeah, those are the three that I would say are really, really good. But I personally like to invest in broker dealers that have banks connected to them because I get the leverage. I'm able to get loans and get business deals and things like that from the bank because I have a
Uh,
portfolio that's 6 figures or 7 figures if you're lucky. Like when you have money, you can leverage things, and banks
yeah.
can give you margin on your investments. So certain things like Robinhood can't do that. So I prefer to be with an institution that has a bank attached to it if you can.
Okay. Well, you're in the States. You're in New York now. So the Merrill, which one was it you mentioned? Sorry.
Merrill Lynch.
Merrill Lynch. Yes,
Yeah.
Merrill Lynch. Yeah. My best friend does that one as well. So is that only for Americans, or like can a Canadian use that as well?
You have to have an American account. So I mean, from what I know, but again, TD Bank, for example, they're Canadian and American. So I know that with them, you'll be good. RBC should also have a trading platform that you can use as well. And I do believe Scotia. I think they may have a trading platform as well, but I'm not too sure about Scotia. But I know that TD definitely does, and I know that RBC definitely does. So you can use them if you need. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say are the top stock recommendations? Like, what are you invested in right now?
I'll give you 3 of the ones that I like. So NIO is I like them because they're like the Tesla of China, even though they're not. Tesla's like a tech company with cars. NIO is just a car company that does electric vehicles in China. But I like them because China as a country is moving in the electric vehicle phase, and they do everything big. So there's billions of people there. Like if you're going to sell a car to a bunch of people, find the biggest population and just sell them a bunch of cars. So I just like NIO. They're like a Tesla company. I like them. I like Tilray, which is a cannabis company, and you're Canadian, so you should know about them. Ticker symbol TLRY. And I like Jumia, JMIA, which is an African, it's basically the Amazon of Africa.
Really? Oh.
You've never heard of them before? Yeah, JMIA. I invested in them and they were $2.30, and they're right now at $67. So they're a pretty good return on investment so far. But they're, again, the way that Amazon went is a way that Africa is going as well. A lot of digital purchasing back and forth. And they have this thing called Jumia Pay, which is like Apple Pay, which is now their next mode of converting money between buyers and sellers. And it's really picking up steam. So their business model is designed for a pandemic. Simple. And it's so those are the 3 I'll give you. Those are that's my hot takes. So, you guys better.
Okay, I wrote them down. So I'm going to note to self, cash in, no cash out of Bitcoin, and transfer over to these. Okay, perfect.
I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more for you. This is especially for you. Sundal, SNDL.
Yeah.
I talked about them on my podcast, but they're very, very inexpensive right now. They're selling for $1.21. And I think that if they do everything they're supposed to do in the next 5 years, that can go up like maybe $15-20 easily in 5 years.
Okay.
Easy.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And then in closing, so there's so many investment options, and it can be very confusing to an investor. Where do you recommend they begin, and what's a reasonable amount to start their portfolio off with?
Well, some broker-dealers allow you to start it with $500 with a contribution of $100 every month. Some require you to have $1,000 to start. I would say, honestly, investing should be a lifestyle, and it starts with your savings. If you are not a good saver, you're going to be a horrible investor, because you have to know how to allocate your money in a way where you have the money to invest. Investing isn't just, I want to make money today, let me just go invest on stuff. No, you have to have an actual account that's savings for emergencies, for 0 to 3 month issues, anything that happen. And then you set aside money for your investments. That pool of money, that emergency fund, is really important before you even get to stocks. So I would say, if you want to think about investing and getting yourself into that game, start budgeting out your money and realizing how much money do you have that's free capital that can be invested. And of that free capital, let's start looking at ways that we can start investing in it. Because you can start investing with as low as $50. The stock I gave you was $1.20. Like, anyone could afford that. So there are stocks out there that are not expensive. Tilray is only $25. Like, they're very inexpensive stocks you can buy for $50, $60. But that's not the key. The key is to consistently contribute to whatever stocks you've decided to buy for as long as you can. That's the goal. The goal isn't about making money today. It's about having as many shares as possible, so that if they grow to $100, $300, $3,000 like Amazon, that your account has 100 shares, 1,000 shares, 5,000 shares of that company. That's where wealth is. It's not in the day trading. It's in just consistently contributing. That's the key.
That's perfect. Sorry, just 2 more questions. Someone messaged here. Are you familiar with Wiseland?
With who?
Wiseland? Wiseland? WISLING? Wiseland?
I am not, but we can look them up. Is that
W
a
I.
stock or is that,
Um,
let's see.
sure.
Spell it for me?
Wiseling.
Nope. That must be
Never.
some type of, let me Google it and see if it comes up. Having your computer set up. Wiseling is, it's an investment platform. Wiseling.com. Let's check it out. Wiseling consistently working and providing customers, governments, institutions with a wide range of financial strategies. I don't even know. Yeah, for investors. Yeah, I don't know about them. Not
Okay.
familiar. Yeah.
And something else asked about Questrade. What about Questrade?
Questrade is good.
Is
They're
it
good
pretty
as well. I
good?
mean, all of these are good to get started with. Yeah. I mean, to me, the most important thing is what you're putting the money into. You know, typically we like things that like RRSP for you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely you want something that's going to be tax deferred. For us, we have 401ks, IRAs. So make sure that whatever you put your money into, there's no annual taxable event that occurs if you don't sell your stocks. That's the most important thing because, you know, I've seen a lot of folks lose their shirt on certain fees. So,
Imagine,
um,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. I know you have to go. Thank you so much for all the information. You've answered a lot of questions that I had no idea on. So, and you educated me quite a bit. So I know exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. Rearrange my portfolio. So thank you so much, everyone. He is the co-founder of the Way Podcast every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, you said?
Yep, Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
All right, so check him out. I'll tag it in the comment below. Thanks so much, Bernard.
Sue, pleasure. It's so good to see you. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. Like, I'm glad this is what we got to do. We got to
Yeah,
do
no, I
this.
love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the information. You have yourself a good night.
All right, you take care.
Okay,
All
bye.
right,
Good
you too.
night.